Hello, everyone. We are Fabian, Lady, and Judy. And tonight we're going to talk about written data in qualitative research. So what is written data? Basically, it refers to texts and documents produced to convey information, ideas, thoughts, reflections, memories, visions, pictures, intentions, and so on, through the medium of signs and symbols that other people can read or sometimes view. So written data can be collected conventionally, so by means of printed text or typescripts or even graffitis, or it can also be conveyed, can also be gathered in a non-conventional way. So in ways that people can see or view, for example, television documentaries, films, or web pages. So when developing a research project, a research has to evaluate the research potential of the text to see if those texts can accomplish the objectives and research questions that have been previously established. So the potential of text helps to inform decisions in education, pedagogy in specific areas, professional development, and also identify curriculum development, practices, phenomena, or events that impact education and provide contextual and historical insights on an issue. And it also helps describe places and social relationships from present or past, and to reconstruct an account of a past event or practice.
Thank you, Julie. So in this aspect, we have some qualitative researchers writing data categorization. So the first one is primary sources, which is collected by the actual witness to event and processes. It could be minutes of meeting, journals, diaries, and all these kind of resources. And then we have the secondary sources that are all those tests writing about things that the author has indirected witnesses, a summary of research finding, writing by someone not involved into the original research. And then we have the tertiary sources, which are all those references that help us look at documentary sources like bibliographies, databases, books, and abstracts.
Perfect, thank you. So when we are talking about writing data, we may find different methods for collecting it. So the methods is going to depend on the type of use that we are going to use or provide to them and the purpose. So if we are pretending to reconstruct past events or understand the current ones, we may use the method of locating writing historical records. It is used on historical research, on bibliographies, policies, analysis studies, and is presented through letters, through the analysis of letters, diary, journals, newspaper reports, and other types of reports as government ones. If we are pretending to analyze policy documents to understand or to critique different procedures, we may use allocating policy documents. So we may take a look at government white papers, federal level management, curriculum policy documents, and so on. And it is well used in political analysis studies, case studies, or ethnography. If we are pretending to gather a range of writing responses or to a set from a range of people, we may use a method of generating open-ended writing survey data. The purpose is to gather those range of writing responses and to set items from a range of people. We use it for action research and case study. And the kinds of documents that we may take a look or use service to identify trends that are collected in category, among others. If we are pretending to make the participants to write journals in order to record their insights and reflections, this is a type of participant journals. It doesn't have a specific set of forms. It could be a little bit free, and the individual may take notes in a notebook, for example. We use it in case studies, in action research and ethnography, or in narrative inquiries. If we are pretending to analyze digital tests that are sample of selected collateral stored in a form of revisable, We may talk about collecting websites and other digital data. We may analyze videos, computer games, virtual word dialogues, and instant messages exchange. And this belongs to a case study, to ethnography, to social linguistic studies, to multimodal analysis, or to discourses analysis. And if we are pretending to analyze documents or to identify social values or features in a culture, we are on the method of collecting images and filmed data. We may analyze photos, documentaries, training films, images-based advertisements, television news, between others, and we may use it for ethnography, for case studies, for narrative inquiries, for discourse or analysis studies, or for semiotics.
Okay, in this point, we would like to share with you guys some criteria for evaluating documents as a writing data. So we have 12 different points. And the first one is, are the records or documents complete? The second one is, are the documents genuine or authentic? And then, are the documents dated and can be placed on a time scale? And the third one, where were the data originally collected or generated? And then, are the author of documents believable, credible? And the sixth one, what relevance does this test have in relation to the research question posed for this study? And are the documents primary, secondary, or tertiary sources? And what effects will they have on the credibility of the study? And then the next one, we have, is there any aspect that could have induced systematic distortions into the study? What procedures were used to deal with missing information in the test, in the event, and there was some? And then the number 10, do the computerized records or documents where they being used very close to resemble to the original records or documents? And are those some data periodical update from the computer file? And then the last one, how were the original tests collected and filled, by whom and for what purposes?
Okay, so the purposes and uses for written data can be categorized into two broads. So the first one is informing, contextualizing, conceptualizing, theorizing, and designing the research project. It is text uses data during the phases of reviewing relevant literature. The other one is generating the empirical data set to derive the study results and findings. So it is basically the data collected in the field.
And then for generating writing data for the empirical data setting qualitative research projects, we have 5 different aspects. The first one is generating writing data using participant journals. In this point, we're going to take into account the student's perspective, point of view. And then we have the locating extant documents as primary sources by searching archive. So in this one, we're going to take into account some public records, personal writing, and stock inventories, libraries, etc. And then the third one would be locating non-conventional test types as writing data. So in this one, we're going to take into account these CD rooms in which the children are going to be interrupting. They're going to use the storybooks and people playing video games. And then the first one would be locating extents in which we're going to have to take into account texts that have been produced by students as regular part of their schoolwork, like essays. And finally, we will have the locating not participant test as writing data, little information, like it would be resources that haven't been produced by people involved in the context. So those are all our references. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great night.